So guys, I'm sorry I'm not here with you today, but I thought maybe a little video of me talking to you might help you through our new topic, which is anaerobic respiration. What happens if you don't have oxygen? So it's also known as fermentation. So in the anaerobic respiration, oxygen's absent, it's not there. So now what are you going to do? Why would that be a problem? Let's recall a little bit about the job of oxygen. When we're making ATP in cellular respiration, if you remember, we made the most ATP when we went through the electron transport chain, which is up here. And at the end of the electron transport chain, oxygen picked up our electrons with our hydrogens, making water. And when that all occurred, the hydrogens came through ATP synthase and made lots of ATP. We got a problem. If we can't pick up anything here, now what? How do we make ATP? And so this is a concern in two cases. One is in us when we can't get enough oxygen. The other is for organisms that don't have electron transport chains or mitochondria. So let's look at that. We need to get the NAD freed up. If you remember when I was NAD in our little play acting, and I was bringing electrons from glycolysis and from the Krebs cycle, I brought them to the electron transport chain. Now, in this scenario, I can't drop them off. So how do I get rid of my electrons so that I can go get more, so I can make a little bit of ATP anyhow? And I need to become NAD again. So I got to lose those hydrogens and electrons. There's two types of fermentation. One is called when we make lactic acid, and others we make ethanol. And so let's look at lactic acid fermentation. This occurs in animals and humans, and this is when you can't get enough oxygen. Pyruvic acid at the end of the electron transport chain acts as the electron's acceptor. So me, NAD, since I couldn't go to electron transport, would give the electrons back to pyruvate at the end of glycolysis. So I'm free to go get more electrons, and pyruvate, when it picks this up, it becomes lactic acid. This happens when you can't get enough oxygen. The lactic acid will accumulate in your muscles, and so this is when, like runners, you'll see them collapse. They get achy muscles. They build up too much lactic acid. It works in the short term to get you through, but it's not ideal. And here's a diagram. So our glucose, we make ATP. We have the two pyruvates. They pick up the NADH. The H and the electrons from the NADH and allows it to become NAD, and it can keep going around and around. We end up with lactate or lactic acid. Alcoholic fermentation occurs in yeast and bacteria. These are organisms that don't have mitochondria. They can just do glycolysis in the cytosol or the cytoplasm. In this case, the pyruvic acid becomes alcohol and carbon dioxide. And bakers take advantage of this, brewers, they take advantage of this reaction to make bubbles, carbon dioxide bubbles, and alcohol. Here's a diagram in this case. So in this scenario, if I'm NAD and I'm living in a yeast or a bacterial cell, I'm going to donate my hydrogens and my electrons to this pyruvate, which becomes acetaldehyde. By losing a carbon dioxide, that's where those carbon dioxide bubbles come from. And by accepting the other electrons, it becomes ethanol, which is a type of alcohol. So there you have it, folks. Now you have some activities to do in class, and I'll see you next time.